Page 42, Sonatina in C major is the first piece in Unit 3. It's a solo piece. You can play for people if they want to hear you play. You look at it and think, oh, forget that. There's too many notes. Well, get into it. Once you get into it and start looking at it and understand what's going on, you'll find that in this piece, at least, most of the time you're dealing with broken chords or scales, passages. So if you've been practicing those, you got this already. You can almost sight read it. However, Sonatina is short for sonata, and this is in sonata form, so we can talk about that a little bit. You see, in a sonata form, you generally will have an exposition, a development, and a recapitulation. That's what they call it. So if you wanted to write something, you could use that form. And in the exposition, that's where you're exposing or presenting the material. You generally have two themes, two main ideas, and generally, a lot of times, they'll contrast each other slightly. One might be happy or doing one thing, the other would be more subdued. Doesn't have to. Who knows what's it. First one might be subdued, and second one, no. The point is two separate melodies, two separate themes in there. Then you have the development, which plays around with them. It does all kinds of who knows what. Then the recap just brings them back again, usually in another key. Doesn't have to. It's usually in a dominant key or some such thing. But you'll see, and you look at this, you have the exposition. They have it labeled for you. And then on measure 15, you have the development. That's where they're playing around with it. And then on measure 19, you have the recap. Well, the development's only 4 measures long. Ugh. Generally, the development's like a huge part of the sonata. It's like, wow. But okay. And then the recap presents the themes again. In this case, it's presenting them in the same key and everything like you had at the beginning. Then they also add a coda on the end, because you can't have a coda. It's kind of a tail piece stuck on there. In some pieces, the coda is extra. Yeah. In some pieces, like sonatas, generally it's an important part of it. So you can't leave off the coda. It's important. It's just an afterthought. So let's look it over. It's 2 pages long. Treble bass clef, no sharps or flats in it. We're either in the key of C major or A minor. If you look at the end, we're here. So figure we're in C chord or we're in C major. So if you're doing the scales in our pages, do the C major and the A minor. That certainly help in a piece like this. And 2/4 time. Now we have to deal with all these 16th notes that are going crazy all over everywhere. So, one hand at a time, let's take a look. Right hand, if you look at the first notes in the measure, first measure, it's these. It's a C, it's a broken C chord. The next measure, it's here, another inversion, and then here. So we just got the inversions of the C chord. That's all. 1 and 2 and. I'm too lazy to go 1 and a 2 and. I just go 1 and 2 and. I know there's 2 16th notes in there. 1 and 2 and. I mean, if you want to go 1 and a, you go right ahead. 1 and a, 2 and a. And then cross over for one note. We want to stay in this position. Don't know why, but they do. Okay. And then for measure 5, you lift up and come up here. It's quite a ways. Now we're in the D minor chord. That's all we're doing. Same rhythm. Reach up a little bit and then here. And that's the main theme. The second theme, up here, 1 and 2 and 1 and. Just coming down the keyboard. Measure 11, they really don't need the natural sign, but it doesn't hurt putting that in. Makes it clear. Same thing in measure 13. And that's the second theme. Now, a little bit about the second theme. You'll notice that each of these patterns is the same. Whatever. It's the same, and it's going down the keyboard. So it's descending when it goes down. But we call this a sequence. It's a recurring pattern going up or down the keyboard. And in piano, most of the time, if we can, we will finger each of those patterns that repeat the same. They're doing that here, starting each one with third finger. And that's good. I like that. However, I don't like this fingering, 3. Especially if it goes fast, and this is a fast piece. These go fast. That can be tricky to keep those smooth and even. So what I like to do is a 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just going 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's that. Except the thumb is underneath. So it's here. Thumb. So start and ending with the thumb each time. And then you can come down. Don't have to. I could go start with third finger and end with the thumb each time. I like that better. So I'm going to do a 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to end with the thumb each time. So after the first note, it's just 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm just starting it each time. I'm just ending with the thumb. It's a very common pattern that's known as a turn. You get an ornament like that, where you're kind of turning around on a note. It's called and a lot of times you'd finger it similar to that. Use 4 fingers to do that with. However, the fingering in the book is fine if you like. I just don't think it works very well when you take it up to speed. I think this fingering is a little better, a little easier to keep them even at a faster tempo. Measure 15 is the development, where they're really just kind of playing around with the second theme. They're not doing anything with the first theme that I can tell. You kind of the second theme, then we go up. But this at the end of each measure, that's sort of like the first theme. They kind of put them together here. Measure 18. We want to. I don't care for this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Nothing really wrong with it. I just don't like doing it. You got other fingers. We can use those. So it's here. I'm going to go 3, 2, 3, 1 on that one. So in measure 18, you're 3, 2, 1, 3, 2. That's what I'm going to do. And then 3, 1. And I'm there. So that's how I'm going to finger that. It's easier for me, so I'm going to do it. And remember, this is a fast piece. I don't want to be going 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So a fingering can work well at a slow speed, but then when you speed it up, it falls apart. And you have to keep in mind this is a fast piece. So even though this fingering might work slow, it may not work fast. I need a fingering that works at a fast tempo. Now we're back to recap, or the first theme. And 27, second theme again. I'm going to finger it the same way. Then the coda, that's just a scale. And the chords. Okay. Let's see what the left hand's up to. Left hand's, fortunately, not doing a lot, because the right hand's very busy. Measure 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 1 and 2. And on measure 14, if you use 2 or 3, either one, I don't care. Just use one. Then I'll put the hands together and see if it works. And I'll hesitate, but that's okay. I just want an idea of how we're doing. The left hand's tied. Now it's here. 1 and 2 and then you've got to come up, lift them together. And here. 1 and. Each time I play the 8th note in the left hand, the right hand is resting. It's measure 9. Don't you want to stop and keep going? I just hate it. Don't you? I hate these interruptions. I promise I won't do it anymore. really, but we will, okay. Even though you're playing the same thing in the right hand going down, the left hand's changing. It's not the same thing each time. When we get to measure 15, the left hand's just, it's all tied. And the right hand just keeps going while the left hand's just sitting there dying away until you get to measure 19. Now on the coda, that's measure 33, your eighth notes. Again, if you've been doing the scale like you're supposed to, this should be fairly simple. Should be. Huh. Famous last words. Now, once I have an idea what the hands are doing, then I'll go back over probably in sections, like just the exposition and the recap and whatever, maybe even a measure or two at a time, whatever it takes, and I'll slowly work out the hesitations. You can go slow. Speed isn't important. We'll speed it up later, but no hesitations. And once I can do that, I'll add the articulation. Here we have staccatos. I'm going to flex at the wrist on the staccatos, short. Basically, it's the way it is all throughout. Now on the coda, they're telling you to slur the right hand. And these are slurs, not phrases. So slur them all together. All these 16th notes together. And the left hand, they don't tell you anything. Or they don't say anything. It's up to you. What do you want to do? You experiment. Try it staccato. Or try it connected. It needs to blend in with what you've been doing before, but which way is it? Because you've got staccatos in the other spots, so you decide on how you're going to do it. When I get to measure 27, and I think there's nothing marked here. So do I play staccatos for the eighth notes? Huh? It's interpretation. It's not clear on how it goes. Generally speaking, in today's environment, or when this was written, and today too, the default would be to connect them. If it doesn't say anything, that's what you do first. So we would connect them. Now these curved lines in this piece throughout are slurs. There's no phrasing marked in here. So like in the development, they're only slurring it per measure, and that was quite common back in the early 1800s. They would not draw a slur line across bar lines for some reason. They would only slur within the measure, and it's understood that you would connect them. So on this development, all these 16th notes, I would connect them all. And going from measure 18 to 19, connect it. It leads into it. Don't go and put a break in there. No. Connect it. It just leads right into it. The phrasing, if you're trying to find it, it looks like it's about every 4 measures. After the half note, you have to lift up. You got to move anyway, so you have to do it. But the phrase, that would be the phrase. It's like between measure 8 and 9. Here, you're here, you go up. It's a new phrase. You lift up there, like taking a breath. Yeah. Then the dynamics. They apply to the melody, which is the right hand. Soft. This. Now this is going to die away, but just keep it in the background. Swell. Back soft again. Measure 9. Now we come up moderately loud. Here, this is still soft. Now measure 14, you get a dim. Well, the dim's, you're starting measure 14 still moderately loud. You haven't changed yet. And then you start changing, and you measure 14 and 15, you gradually go down to soft. So moderately loud for measure 13. Come down a little bit. Now it's soft. Then you get a crescendo and measure, 16? You're going to go up whatever. You can go up to moderately loud or whatever, or loud, I don't know. But then in measure 18, you got to come back down to soft. So you're soft to measure 19. So you experiment with it and blend it in. So soft to measure 15, soft, still soft, now louder, now. So at the beginning of measure 18 is really the loudest part, right in there. Then I come down, right there. So I'm gradually going up, and then I come back down. You feel it. You experiment with it to get where you can feel this swell going up there. Now at the coda, you're starting that out moderately loud in the right hand. Then you're going to echo that, not soft. And you're ending it soft. The last two measures, while I'm playing this, I want to hear this. And this is soft. So this has to be under it. You even get softer as you go through that, because this is dying away. Yeah, so I can still hear that. That's sort of the dynamics. The idea is to get to know it well enough you can feel these dynamics. And then the speed. Well, this is assuming you've got rid of all the hesitations. Allegro is quick. Some people say it means happy. I don't care if it's happy or whatever, but if you're going to be happy, be quick about it. It's fast. How fast? Don't know. How fast can you do the 8th note or the 16th notes accurately? Find the hardest part in it, wherever it is. Is it the coda? Or is it this at the beginning? Whatever the hardest part is for you, probably the development, huh? So somewhere in there. The hardest part, how fast can you play that accurately, and that's going to be your speed. You can always come back to this and play it for fun later as you get better. You'll play it faster and better at the time. So don't take it at my speed. You take it at your fast. We're all a little different on that. Careful, they throw you a gotcha. You're good at these gotchas. In the second theme on page 42, around measure 12, 13, 14, you have this coming down. Coming down each one. Well, over on the next page, in the recap, they don't do that. They change it slightly, so be careful. So it's like on measure 30, you're here, 31. Then 32, you're expecting this. No, it come down. They skipped one. They go back up. So they changed it. You gotta watch these things. Otherwise, I used to get in a lot of trouble. I got yelled at more than once in college because I would play sort of harmonically as I would hear it. And I could remember the theme, something like that. I didn't play this in college, but it would be an example where I would get this second theme, I'd just be coming down. And then later on, I see the theme again, I just do the same thing. Even though the notes say different, and I used to get yelled at. I actually got yelled at once by a professor who says, "You're not reading the music." Well, no, I wasn't. I was kind of playing by ear on that one because you have to be very careful about that. I still make that mistake today, but generally try and make sure everything is the same. Don't just assume it's the same like I do. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do louds and softs. We're going to go really super slow since there's so many 16th notes in here. I'm going to put the metronome on 8th notes. But I'm going to give us 2 quarter notes to come in, as if that makes sense. Just one hand at a time if you need to. 1 and ready, go. 1,